Anything like me, this season of life of navigating parenthood and navigating wealth building, either working a 9 to 5 where someone else is signing off on your paychecks, or you are currently running the day-to-day operations of your own business or trying to get your business up off the ground, this is a very challenging season. Now, add COVID-19 quarantine to the mix, and holy crap, how do you navigate your days of being trapped in the house on top of the kids and still striving to meet the demands of your daily work goals? Well, my friend, I want to share with you today my quick tips on how to do just that. So, hang tight. This is Molly Ann Luna, life and business success strategist. And if you haven't picked up on it, which I'm sure you did, this audio quality, not our typical audio quality. And that is because instead of being in my normal studio, we are currently sitting in my car. It's 5 a.m. here in Los Angeles, California, and I've been up every 2 hours with the baby, and I'm currently sitting in the car. I've got a baby blanket literally thrown over the driver's, what is it called? The driver's seat. I'm in the driver's seat, over the steering wheel. And I'm holding my little tiny microphone and talking to you on my iPhone because I made a decision that I am stepping into this space to help hold a space for you and to guide you into also building true wealth for you and your family. And nothing will stop me from staying committed to you. And I was just kind of spinning my wheels all week in frustration because my husband is also, much like you are probably, it's COVID-19 quarantine. We're all in the house, piled on top of one another, and he has work demands that need to be met with deadlines. And, there's financial consequences if things aren't met, and as well as myself. But then still navigating raising a 3.5-year-old and doing my very best to try to wean the 5-month-old, our son, Hero. But unfortunately, this last night, he was up every 2 hours. And all that to say is that all week has gone by and it's just been me fully grounded in the house, in navigating motherhood and being a supportive wife and all of that. And honestly, the business has just kind of taken a seat in the back burner. And that's okay. It's okay because when we're navigating true wealth building, business building, stacking our cash, working and refining in our craft, in our area of expertise, because this is the season that we're in. If you're anything like me, I'm in my 30s. This is just, it is what it is. It's the season of where you are now. If you've chosen to be a parent or if you are a parent, navigating parenthood and navigating that wealth building season. It's hard, okay? So I was finding myself wanting to kind of fall into this pity party all week of, but I haven't gotten time to work. And what it ultimately comes down to is that I hadn't yet fully created it. Now, I will not make excuses. I refuse to make excuses for myself. I will tell you this. Our family is currently in between housing, and we are practicing the stay-at-home, safe shelter, COVID-19 quarantine. I don't know what to call it. I was going to say principles, but not principles. They're suggestions. In a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 humans and one very hairy and stinky 4-legged friend, Ridge, our 12-year-old schnauzer. And let me just say, it is torture. It is torture in every moment. However, when we are deciding that we are going to fully step into our power and we are going to be what I call legacy leaders, people who really value family and make sure that that is a top priority, but also who really value and honor the work that they are doing in this world. And that doesn't mean that you love it all the time and every day and all of that, but you're somebody who is willing to do your very best to navigate both of those. And I hear a lot of people, and myself included, I used to refer to it as as finding balance between business and babies. But I'm just going to put it out there right now. One of my tips is just to let that go, because there is no way of balancing. There's going to be moments where you'll tend to the business more and you'll tend to the babies more. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, the visual that was given to me as I just said that was gardening. Now, I by no means claim to have a green thumb, but I did grow up in the Midwest around a lot of farmers. My father was a gardener, and I know that you can't stand in the middle of a garden where you've got radishes and carrots and strawberries and cucumbers and watermelons and pumpkins and all of the things planted all in that same plot of land and just hold a hose in the middle of it and just be like, well, I'm balancing the garden, because there's some of those plants that don't need as much water or that don't need as much sunlight. So you can't just try to evenly distribute all of your time, energy, and resources to both things at all times, because one or both or all will actually die. They'll get choked out. So the same thing is true for your babies and for your business. So just recognizing first and foremost, there's no such thing as balance, and to give yourself permission to know that if you had a week like me where my entire week was navigating our family's relocation, speaking to our new landlord. We've decided we're going to rent for the next couple of years, and speaking with the plumber and speaking with the movers and all of that. Like, there's just going to be times where that part of I'm using air quotes here, the garden is going to need tended to. And then there's going to be times where the children, for example, my daughter Ahana and my son Hero, I mean, they are so young. They require so much tending to, right? I'm constantly having to, why do I have this vision of the garden? I really don't have that much experience with it, but I'm just picturing like pulling weeds. And with them, it's constant. It's like one complaint pops up and then two more, I pull it out and two more pop up right after that. Like, Mommy, I want toast. Okay, with peanut butter, and I want a banana. Okay, you want peanut butter banana toast? No, then pull the bananas off, throw them in the trash. Like, it's like you handle one thing and then two more things pop up. It's nonstop. So how do we navigate this without completely losing our minds? Well, we've already talked about just basically throwing the BS word of balance into the trash. Like, just forget about it. That's my first tip. Just know there's going to be seasons where one's going to get more focus than the other, and that isn't necessarily in large chunks of time. That can be throughout the 24-hour window. So, for example, me this morning, I tended to the baby. I want to say all night. I feel like just when I got into like a nice sleep pattern, then he's awake again. And that's because he's on the verge of crawling, and so he's having a developmental leap. And so it is what it is. It's just part of parenting. But there, I gave what I needed to give to him. And then now, because we are in a one bedroom and there literally is nowhere else for me to go, I'm in the car. I'm in the car so I can tend to now my business, into nurturing and nourishing first and foremost myself, because doing this work brings me so much joy and fulfillment. And more importantly, showing up for you, because it is my desire to share with you authentically my knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, life lessons, so that you too can be very well equipped to go out there and to live your legacy, to really become the master of your mind. Because so much, can we just say this really quickly? So much of business building is mindset mastery. It is mindset mastery. And that is because, in my opinion, there is no greater personal development exercise that you could do than by being a business owner, by being an entrepreneur. And I'm saying that, but I also know that some of you work a typical, normal, outside of COVID quarantine, of course, a 9-to-5 gig where someone else is signing your paycheck. If someone else is signing your paycheck, let me tell you right now, you still have to have the mindset of an entrepreneur if you're truly going to thrive in that space. So it is a mental game. Business is a mental game. And so anyway, moving on. Let me wrap up this point here. Just we threw out balance out of the window. Done. Moving on to the next one. Prioritize your well-being. Okay? It's very important to remember to try your very best. And I know it's really hard. Trust me, I know it's so hard. But you've got to spend some time during the day just focusing on your own well-being. Now, if you're a busy parent like me, you know what? That time might be 3 minutes, maybe. Maybe you can go to the bathroom, or maybe you can take a shower and like finally shave your legs, if you're into that sort of thing like I am. Or maybe your well-being, for example, in this moment, my well-being is being able to shoot my show, right? Like we're doing right now, like to share my ideas through my podcast. So whatever it is for you, you've got to find that for yourself, okay? It's going to look different for everybody, but you've got to find, you have to create it, okay? No one's going to give it to you, especially if you've got small kids. They're not going to give it to you. I was using the restroom yesterday, and my little girl is standing by the door, and she's not touching the door. She's not knocking on the door, but I can just see her little toes peeking out from like under the bottom crack. And I'm just like, OMG, like, please tell me I locked that door, because I really just want like 2 solid minutes to myself. You have to create it, because it's not going to be given to you. Okay. So find something for yourself. And I understand it's much more challenging right now. It's limited. We're here in California, where now it is absolutely required that when you leave the house, or specifically in Glendale, California, I don't know if it's all of Los Angeles County, that you must wear a face mask. And so that really limits things, right? Like going for a run is part of my well-being practice, and I'm not going to go for a run with a mask over my face. Like it's just not going to happen. So you've got to find something that works for you, and you have to create that. You have to block it out for yourself. I the other day, even though we're in a 1-bedroom, I'm like, you guys, I love you 3, but you gotta sit on the couch, put on a show. Like I'm taking a bath, and I filled up the tub like as far as I could, and I just put my ears underwater for like 30 minutes, because I'm like, I just need a moment to let myself think. And so I had to go to, I'm going to use the word extreme very loosely, because sitting in the bathtub is not an extreme measure, but I would go sit outside and have a think, but it's not an option right now. So I'm like, let me just go put my head underwater so I can hear myself. You got to do what you got to do, but you absolutely must prioritize your well-being. You must make sure to do your very best to maintain a positive mind. Okay. And this, I'm not going to lie, it's tricky for me sometimes. You have to choose in your day-to-day whatever it is that you are consuming. And if you're like the Lunas, has been a whole lot of Netflix, even more so, and a whole lot of YouTube videos than our typical day, because we're inside and there's literally nothing else to look at but each other or the TV screen. You've got to be very cognizant of the type of content that you're letting come into your eyes and your ears. So I want you to make it a priority to start your day off, if you can. I mean, trust me, I know it's hard. You have to start your day off with filling your mind with positive content. That's either reading something that's uplifting, listening to an audiobook, which actually has been my saving grace, because having 2 kids, I tried to read yesterday and it was literally every other word that my eyeballs were going from left to right on the book. My daughter's like asking for, what can Ahana eat next? And I'm like, I love you so much, but please stop. Like I can't even read one full sentence right now. So read if you can. Listen to an audiobook. If you're a busy parent like me, like at least you can put one earbud in and have one ear open for the kids and one earbud in of like filling your mind with positivity, which, by the way, hopefully, fingers crossed, this can be that for you today. Hopefully something positive to just keep you motivated and going forward towards achieving your dreams of ultimately building true wealth, lifestyle, and financial freedom, being that super parent that you want to be, and also that badass boss that I know you are. Okay, so keep a positive mindset. Now, when it comes to the kiddos, you got to be mindful, and I do my very best. Sometimes it's really hard, especially when you're cooped up and you're stressed out, it's easy to just want to spiral out of control. But this is where you've got to come back into yourself, take a few deep cleansing breaths, especially when they are literally bouncing off the walls. I don't know how many times in a day I tell my daughter, please stop jumping on the couch, because she just has boundless energy. She's used to socializing for 40 some hours a week and going to the park at least twice a day. And now we're cooped up in like a 500 square foot space, right? So you just have to take lots of deep cleansing breaths and be mindful about the words that you're speaking and the things that you're saying, and really dedicate a specific amount of time. And honestly, if you've got young kids like I do, my daughter never really wants more than 15 minutes of my undivided attention. And in that 15 minutes, we probably do 5 different activities: hide and seek, color crowns, play dolls, dance party, I don't know, story, tell me a story, mommy. Like, it's a lot, but it's really not. When you can just really carve out and dedicate that just focused time of just, I'm even going to set a timer. Her new favorite thing is Surrey. I think this is going to be interesting to see what comes out of this quarantine, because right now, unfortunately, Surrey is her best friend. She's got daily conversations with her, but she loves to say, Surrey, set a timer. So that's what we'll do. We'll set a timer. Surrey, set a timer for 15 minutes, and it'll just be, what does Ahana want to do? And it's 15 minutes of shenanigans, and then it's back to focused work individually. Like, you go back and you do your schoolwork, work on your ABCs, watch this preschool programming if you need to, because come on, let's be honest, TV has become part of the babysitter. I don't love that. Trust me, I don't, but it is just what it is right now. Do that, or go play and use your imagination, and mommy's going to get back to connecting with her clients, whatever it is. So you just got to be mindful. You've got to set boundaries. You've got to create those specific pockets of time for your own well-being and for that really focused time and attention to your child. And then my final tip for today is that when it's appropriate, and maybe sometimes even when it's not the most appropriate, do not be afraid to involve your child into your work, okay? So many of us are now all working from home, which honestly I've been working from home for the last several years. So it's nothing new for me, but I do understand that many of my clients, something as what I took as simple and like pretty straightforward because I've been using it for so long, they're finding it challenging to navigate the online space of doing something. And I say this as simple, but again, I recognize everything's a learned skill. So when you're first learning it, it's not that simple. But of how to download the app Zoom and how to set up a meeting and connect. That has become a vital tool for many of us, and especially if you're not used to navigating the online business world. And it might feel inappropriate, like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get on this Zoom call without the kids, but just recognize that everybody, just about everybody, or at least anybody who is a parent and working from home, their kids are going to be there. So it's okay. Like, it really is. I've had some really important high-level meetings, and my kids have been on my lap. And it's just like, you know what? It is what it is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if that person that's been on those calls with me, some of these like high-end corporations and these potential like joint venture partnerships, if they don't dig my style, like I don't care if they don't, no, I do care. I was going to say, I don't care if they don't like my kids, or what I want to say is if they don't like kids. Of course I care if you like my kids. My kids are awesome. And if you can't see that, you're crazy. Every parent would say, of course. But what I mean is, if they're not cool with the kids being on the Zoom call, then we're not cool as a partnership. We're not cool as potential clients doing business together. You feel me? Because to me, the most important thing is my family, and then business comes second. So when it's appropriate, do your best to try to involve the kids. And even if it's not appropriate, let yourself have some grace and say, like, it is okay. It's totally okay. All right, I've had a couple of interviews this last month, because I think we're on week 4 and a half at the time of this recording of this quarantine, where my kids have made little cameos in the background. And it's like, you know what? It just is what it is. And it's actually awesome. And it's actually can really build social equity fast. So give yourself permission. Let go of the idea of how things should be, and stop striving to keep the business and the babies separate. I think that's ultimately my biggest takeaway tip for today. Okay, now I would like to hear from you. So I want you to hit me up on social media at Molly and Luna. You can head over to Instagram. You can send me, put a comment below this episode on my IG account at Molly and Luna, and tell me which of these tips will you start implementing so that you don't completely lose your mind or start your day drinking at 11 a.m. No judgment if you are, but that you are putting into place so that you can stay focused on building true wealth, on building that business, on raising those babies, and ultimately, eventually leading to the creation of your lifestyle and financial freedom. So drop a comment below this episode on one of the social media platforms. Instagram is a great place to go, but it's also on LinkedIn and Facebook. Drop me a comment down below and tell me what you'll do. And better yet, if you've got an even better tip, let me know. Share the wealth. I'm in this with you, and I want to know, as well as the rest of our community here, because knowledge, applied knowledge, is power. And so if you've got a tip, we want to hear it. Okay, that's all for now. I'll see you same time, same place next week.
Are you ready to build true wealth for both yourself and your future generations to come? If so, I'd like to invite you to become a legacy leader by joining us inside of the Legacy Leaders community. This is the place to connect with heart-centered self-starters like yourself who are striving to master their minds and build a legacy. It's a place to let go of generational and cultural beliefs that have been holding you back. It's a place to reclaim your creative power, become your own boss, and build that profitable and portable business you've always dreamed of. Come create lifestyle and financial freedom with us inside of the Legacy Leaders community so that you too can live and leave your legacy.